Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or indeed good evening, depending on your time zone and depending on when you are watching this. It's Wednesday, the 22nd of July, already halfway through most people's working week. I'm James Innes, and this is my YouTube show, The Jobs Guru. I'm delighted to see you here for today's episode. I extend a very warm welcome to all those who have subscribed since the last episode. And if you haven't yet subscribed, then please do think about subscribing so you don't miss out on the next episode. In today's show, I'm going to be covering a question from one of my viewers, and next in the interview question series, I'll be asking, deep breath, you have 12 visually identical marbles. They are all the same weight, except for two, one of which is lighter, and one of which is heavier than the others. You have some good old-fashioned weighing scales, you know, the kind which act on a pivot kind of thing, which you are permitted to use up to 3 times at the most. How do you identify which are the heavier and lighter ones? Gosh, answers on a postcard, please. No, well, we'll come on to it later in the show. If you have any questions or comments as you watch them, do please let me have them in the comment section below. And if you like what you see, then do please hit that YouTube thumbs up. So, on to that question from one of my viewers. Today's question has been sent in by Jade, 26 years old, in Lincoln. Dear James, I've been working in retail for the past few years since leaving school, but hate it. I would like a change of career, perhaps to something less customer-facing in an office or working for a bigger company or team. I don't like being stood up all day on the shop floor, and I don't like dealing with the public, which are my main complaints. How do I go about navigating a career change without leaving my current role or retraining? As I still have bills to pay, and so I need to maintain my current income. Are any skills transferable? Okay, well, Jade in Lincoln, you're very clearly in the wrong line of work, aren't you? That much is very obvious. And it's actually very good that you've realised this now rather than later. Changing career path obviously becomes more difficult as time goes by, but you're still only 26. It's true that a lot of what you do now will be irrelevant to your new line of work, but of course there are definitely plenty of transferable skills you will have acquired which will be beneficial in an office environment, for example. You might not like dealing with the public, but your work will have enabled you to develop your interpersonal skills, your communication skills, your conflict resolution abilities. There's also your organisational and problem-solving skills, time management, team working, etc. Long list. Above and beyond this, I strongly suggest you look into some reasonably short, obviously, evening courses to help add a few more concrete skills to your CV. You could look into further developing your computer skills, for example. Maybe hard work, but you can undertake these whilst, still holding down your current job. And at the very least, putting a few courses like this in your CV will really help to show that you're keen, enthusiastic, willing to learn, and ready to make this change. And that you're serious about making a success of it. So, I'm always open to interesting new questions from my viewers. If you have a workplace, jobs, careers, or employment-related question for me, then do please type it into that comment section below. Who types like that anyway? Well, me, obviously. I may well feature it in a future episode of this show, and if I do, then one of my limited edition collector's item Jobs Guru coffee mugs will be yours. I know you want one. You know you want one. Now, as well as heading up jamesinnes.group, I'm also the UK's best-selling careers author, and amongst my titles is the interview, question and answer book. It is, of course, available in all good bookshops, or if you'd like a signed copy from yours truly, then there's a link in the description of this video. Each Wednesday at the moment, I'm taking questions from that book and looking at how to answer them. Currently, it's the last one, I think, from the Weird and Wonderful Questions chapter. So, today's question. This is not an easy one. You have 12 visually identical marbles. Okay, all right so far? They are all the same weight, except for two, one of which is lighter than the others and one of which is heavier. You have some good old-fashioned weighing scales, the kind which act on a pivot, yeah? Which you are permitted to use up to 3 times at the most. How do you identify which are the heavier and lighter ones? Now, similar questions include, you have a blob of plasticine whose weight, which is a whole number of grams, you need to find using balancing scales. If the blob weighs up to 100 grams, what is the minimum number of weights you need to measure it? And if you could fold a piece of paper in half 100 times, how thick it would be? Well, obviously you couldn't, but how thick would it be? But back to the question in hand. I'm not going to repeat it. You've got it. 12 marbles, same weight, but two different, one lies up. Yeah, so let's go there. Okay, right, got it. This is quite evidently a mathematics question, and fortunately for the non-mathematicians, you're only likely to be asked this if you can reasonably be expected to have a sufficient grasp of mathematics, either to know or to deduce the answer. So anyway, how to answer? Well, the answer, if written, is really rather long. Let me put it that way. And it's definitely beyond the scope of this show. If you're curious, then I suggest you Google it. Actually, whilst you can write out the answer longhand, I personally think the best way to arrive at the answer is using a flowchart. And the mathematicians amongst you will understand that. Sorry, I came over all nerdy there. Now, I'm currently updating the interview question and answer book, working on a brand new edition, the third edition. So if you have any interview questions which you think I should be considering for possible inclusion, do please let me know in the comment section below. And if I use your question, then obviously there will be a complimentary copy of that new edition for you. I may even throw in a free interview coaching session with me, if you like. The man who literally wrote the book on interviews. Or of course, you can just pop along and book a session at jamesinnes.group. So now, we're not far from the end of today's show. I'll be back tomorrow, Thursday. Remember, this show is Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, each and pretty much every week. Yes, even when I'm on holiday. Just two more things. First, I must squeeze in some routine but important requests. Do please check me out on social media and connect, follow, or otherwise stalk me. But please do not troll me. If you have any questions or comments about this episode, about the show in general, about life, the universe, the mysteries of mathematics, whatever, then do please let me have them in the comment section below. If you like this episode, then do please hit it with the YouTube thumbs up. If you've done that already, then think about subscribing maybe, and also ringing that bell. So, ouch, that's a bit close to my ear, that was. So you don't miss out on the next episode. And if you've already done all of that, well, thank you. Finally, what's happening in the next episode? Well, in Thursday's show, tomorrow, I'm going to be looking at the week's workplace news. I do hope you'll tune in. Thank you for watching today. Keep safe and be well, my friends. Goodbye.